Hey guys, what's going on? This is episode 1 of Hey, I'm Playing That. This is a list of games I'm currently playing. Right now it is Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls Edition, Mad Max, Silent Bomber, a horribly underrated PlayStation 1 game, and Onichan-Bara Z2 Chaos. There'll be a succession of videos here of each game, and it'll pop up in the upper left screen of which game is which. I'm sure if you're remotely interested in watching this video, you can figure out which one's which. Silent Bomber is off of the PS1, and it's being played on a PS3 for not just for capturing purposes, but for convenience. I happen to have a launch PS3 that's fully backwards compatible with the PS2 and PS3, so that's where most of my capturing stuff will be done for those games. Anyways, let's get to it. Diablo 3, Reaper of Souls Edition. I am having a blast playing this. I have to be honest, this style of game, isometric action RPG, right in my wheelhouse. I can say between Baldur's Gate, Dark Alliance 1 and 2, I probably sunk around 3,000 hours into those games. Same goes with the Champions of Norath, and Champions Return to Arms for the PS2. Bard's Tale, Dungeons and Dragons Heroes, Gauntlet Dark Legacy. I am in that small minority of, I liked, was it Gauntlet, Seven Sorrows? Is that what it's called? I can't even remember. Gauntlet, I have it here, I just can't find it, but the Gauntlet that tried to be more like a Diablo and less like a Gauntlet that a lot of people didn't like, I had a blast with that game. Also, to the looting of stuff, I think when it was all said and done, I had close to 4,000 hours into Borderlands, played the hell out of Torchlight on both PC and Xbox 360. Sacred 2 I played a bunch of, Dungeon Siege 3 for the Xbox 360, I played a bunch of that. Trying to think what else was there. But I can't think of anything else in particular off the top of my head. But action RPGs are right in my wheelhouse. I absolutely love the looting, leveling, and grinding aspect of those games. And with the Reaper of Souls edition, I'm playing as a Crusader. I'm Paragon level 25. It is a blast. There's so much to do and see. I just completed my first run of bounties. Massive amounts of loot. Just got my first armor set, so I'm looking forward to equipping that and wreaking havoc with that armor set. Just in general, as you can see, the gameplay is really crisp and tight. Bright, crisp graphics. Nothing that's going to wow you, nothing that's going to amaze you. It's just there's so much going on screen without a hint of slowdown or stutter that I'm thoroughly amazed with that game. And as you can see, there are enemies that take up the entire screen. Almost every, I'd say, mid-boss type character has some sort of elemental effect, damage, etc. that can really put you behind the 8 ball if you don't know what you're doing. At this point, I am fairly, what you're seeing, I'm fairly over-leveled, I guess would be the case. I'm not taking a ton of damage, and even when I am, it's still a blast to play. Then I'm on to Mad Max. Now this game, for whatever reason, is getting a ton of average reviews, and I actually am enjoying the hell out of it. I know that it follows the Ubisoft Warner Brothers template of unlock towers, open up more of the map. You go up in balloons to unlock the map function. But here's the thing. Avalanche Studios made this game, and man, they nailed the traversal of driving around in your car is spectacular. If it were just solely a driving game, it would be something to behold. The vehicular combat is amazing. I tweeted at them a few weeks ago saying, you guys should really see who's got the Destruction Derby license and see if you guys can make one of those, because I would chip in on a Kickstarter for that, because the driving in this game is crisp, it's insane, it's over the top. You got your little sidekick Chum Bucket that keeps the magnum opus running. In the background you can see one of those balloons. And once you go up in those balloons, it unlocks more of the map, unlocks points of interest. You have to lower threat levels in every territory. Certainly reminiscent of Far Cry and why can I not think of it? The Middle Earth. I'm just going to drive me nuts. The last Lord of the Rings game that just came out. I cannot think of the name off the top of my head. I have it, and I cannot think of the name of it for the life of me. That's going to drive me nuts. Anyway, it is Shadow of Mordor. Sorry, Shadow of Mordor. I can't believe I spaced out on that, but it is an amazing. It is an amazing game that follows in that template. I love the car combat, as you can see. Your enemies' cars, as you unlock territories, get more difficult and harder to. Certainly harder to. I don't know, how do I put it? Certainly harder to defeat. You have a harpoon, you have cannons. It's just a lot of fun, and I've had a blast playing it. Is it perfect? By no means, but it's a gorgeous game. You have Max is they put him behind the 8 ball. They steal his car right off the start. Just a really good game in general. I've had a lot of fun playing it, and I think that's the key. Don't let a review tell you not to play a game. If you play it and enjoy it, more power to you. I love how visceral and gory the combat is too. The hand-to-hand melee combat is fun. You have limited resources, so you don't have a ton of ammo, but the knife kills and the shotgun kills are pretty amazing. So I've had a blast playing that. So I hope you enjoyed the Mad Max section, and we'll be on to the next one in just a moment. Alright guys, this is Silent Bomber for the PlayStation 1. Came out in, what do I want to say? February of 2000? Actually, I think that's right. This game is famous for coming out in February of 2000. February 29th, 2000. Leap Day, to be exact. And as you can see, this is sort of a top-down shooter, action RPG. You level up, you gain more bomb abilities. You play as a cybernetically enhanced warrior named Utah, who's, over the course of the game, he's battling some memory flashbacks, maybe leading you to believe that the battle that you're fighting is not as just as they're telling you it is. But this game is amazing. I have had it since day one. I pre-ordered this game way back at the Old Software Etc. here at the Columbia Mall in Grand Forks, and I am glad I never got rid of this. I see it's a rather rare and hard to come by game now at this point, and it is a blast. Instead of shooting, you can lay down bombs, or you can shoot. I don't want to say shoot, but launch the bombs, and they attach to your enemies, and they stick to them. You have a paralysis bomb, a napalm bomb, and a gravity bomb, and they all have different effects, as well as your standard one. They each have their own different capabilities, and as I said, you earn E-chips and data chips, which allow you to level up your shields, the amount of bombs you carry, the distance your bombs will go. So yeah, it's a lot of fun, and certainly once you get to about the 5th or 6th level, there's a fair amount of challenge in there, right up there with some bullet hell style shooters. There, like I said, there's a decent story in there. This who did this? This is Bandai did this game, and I think this came out before they were Bandai Namco. So this is going back a ways. Like I said, February of 2000. It's a blast. I can't recommend it highly enough. If you should come across a copy, I would say pick it up. It's still going to run you about the cost of a new game right now. It's still going to run you anywhere between $40 to $60 to get a copy of this. But if you should be fortunate enough to find one at either a thrift store or a rummage sale on the cheap, definitely grab it. This game is a blast to play. And you know what? As I was playing it, granted this is through a PS3, so I've got it upscaled and smoothed, but I popped it into my PS1, and for a PS1 era game, it still looks really good. When you consider all the stuff that's going on screen, it still looks amazing. I can safely say that between this, Metal Gear Solid, the first Metal Gear Solid, I should say, Dragon Valor, and probably Wild 9, as well as any of the NHL series games, I can say that those are probably my biggest games that I played on the PS1. Silent Bomber, Metal Gear Solid 1, Wild 9, Dragon Valor. Threads of Fate is definitely in there. But I would say Silent Bomber certainly is in my top 10 PS1 games. Now, I don't think it's one of the best PS1 games ever made. For me personally, this was one of my favorite PS1 games. I played the absolute hell out of this. Like I said, there's a fair amount of challenge in here. You're not going to blow through it in a day. Terrific game. Bandai hit it out of the park with this one. So this is Silent Bomber. Up next is Oni-chan Bara, and we'll see you in a few. Alright guys, let's close this out with Oni-chan Bara Z2 Chaos. This game is from Xseed Games. It is silly, it is over the top, it is gory. You can play as one of 4 characters you can swap out on the fly. Each one of them will earn more upgrades and abilities. They each have their own weapon sets. They each have their own supers and combos. It's a fairly tight game as far as combat goes. The controls are super silky. There's very rarely are you left wondering why that happened, if at all. If you screw up in combat, it's your fault, it's not the game's. There's a fair amount of challenge there. There's a ton of unlockable content and side challenges after you beat the game. So it's well worth the... I don't even think it launched at 60. I think it launched at 50 or 40. I happened to get the collector's edition, so it was a little spendier than the standard version, but... there's a lot of fun to be had in there. Really cool game. The environments are sparse, but everything else looks crisp. Your enemies look sharp. The battle effects look amazing when you land a combo or a super. Everything looks really cool. I've rattled off really insane combos. Using that chainsaw, the sprint attack where she just runs through a crowd with the chainsaw is really cool. You see body parts and blood go flying everywhere. And one of the mechanics in the game that's really cool is as your weapon gets covered in blood, it becomes less effective. So you have to clean the weapon off and shake the viscera, as it were, right off the weapon itself. It's pretty cool. It's not a perfect game by any means. I put it in that same category as Sniper Elite. Version 3 or Volume 3, whatever they called it. It's just like that. It's not perfect, but is there a lot of fun to be had. And I said if I based my game of the year solely on time played, I think Sniper Elite would have been my game of the year for 2014 if I based it solely on time played. Then maybe a close second would have been Sunset Overdrive. But yeah, Oni-chan Bara Z2 Chaos. I see that the standard edition is already dropped in price down to 30. So if you see it and you're remotely interested, it's a lot of fun. That is the physical version. I know they're still charging full price on the PlayStation Network for it, but I've seen it as low as 30 at Best Buy and GameStop, and those are probably the only places outside of Amazon that you're gonna find it. I don't imagine that Target or Walmart, maybe in anywhere but here. Maybe if you go into a Hastings, I think if you go into a Hastings and whatnot, you might find one in there. But yeah, thanks for watching. This is my first episode of Hey, I'm Playing That, and I know this one's going to be a little bit rough, but I'll have the format smoothed out hopefully in the next couple of episodes. Thanks for watching. That was Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls, Mad Max, Silent Bomber, and Oni-chan Bara Z2 Chaos. We'll see you next time, guys.